Welcome back to New Horizons. I'm Karen Dye, your host for today's program. It was a pleasure to have Major Kendall here today to talk about the Salvation Army. And now we're moving on to the state level, where we're going to talk with Paul Meinsen of the Capitol Commission. Paul, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Karen.
Tell me and tell our viewers, what is the Capitol Commission?
Capitol Commission is a ministry work in state capitals all throughout the country. We're in 18 states, and our mission is to proclaim the greatness and the glory of God in our state capitals. We are there to reach the capital community for Christ.
So would you then be equated to, say, a chaplain for those in service at the Capitol?
A chaplain could be one way of looking at it. The way I usually describe it to people is that I am a pastor/missionary. And our mission field, our place of work, is the capital community. Whether it be a legislator, staff person, judge, executive, legislative, judicial branches. It's our desire to minister and serve in all areas of our state government.
Well, I think our viewers would probably be surprised to hear that that actually is available and is going on every day at the state capitol. Tell me what an average day would be like for you.
Well, an average day would probably be, let me describe an average week. An average week, we have 3 Bible studies a week. During the legislative session, we have 3 Bible studies a week in the Capitol building. One on Tuesday morning, Tuesday night, and again on Wednesday morning. It's the same study, we just give many opportunities, kind of like different worship services at your local church. But we have our Bible studies, usually on Monday before the Bible studies take place. I walk to every legislative office and hand out a hard copy of our Bible study. And that's after I've already emailed the Bible studies to all the staff, all the legislators, all the judges, really anyone that's in the building receives a copy of our studies. And then one of those 3 times, they're welcome to come and to be a part of our studies. But I also walk the halls, just like any pastor would in their community. You seek to build relationships and friendships and to come alongside those who are already believers so that they may grow. Instead of the Capitol being a place where they're torn down, it can be a place where they can grow in the grace and knowledge of God. If they're not a believer, then it's my desire to build that relationship so we may have opportunity to present to them what's most important. And that's not a piece of legislation. That's the gospel of Jesus.
That's one of the things we've talked about a lot here, and also personally, I've always said that when it comes to changing the world, it's not going to be done through legislation. It's going to be done through people changing their hearts toward Jesus Christ. So tell me about, I know a lot of our viewers participated in the prayer event that was held recently at the Capitol when Anne Graham Lotz was here.
Yes.
We were so proud to be able to be a part of that, and that the legislatures actually asked for Christians' help during that time. Do you find that most of them are open to what you have to say when you're moving about through the Capitol?
Well, I've never had anyone throw me out of their office.
Well, that's a good
and
start.
I think here in Missouri, it would not, it's very still politically prudent to be, at least in having your bio, some sort of church affiliation. And so as a pastor, most everyone there is at least nice to let me come in and visit, and to ask if they have anything to pray about. I'll get several requests. But there are a number of strong, godly leaders, legislators here in Missouri, and they are very receptive to what we're doing. And we have some that are not believers, but God's given us abilities or given us opportunities to visit, to talk. We may talk about legislation, even though that's not why I'm there. That may open a door to, looking at things from a biblical worldview. Why do you think the way you think? Why do you hold that position? And then just look for the opportunities to say, here's what's most important.
How did you become part of the Capitol Commission?
I was, when I was in seminary in Los Angeles, I met a gentleman who was the president of a ministry that ministered to capitals, and as I talked with him while I was at seminary, I thought, this is very, very interesting. I've been in ministry work for about 15 years before I went to seminary, in youth ministry and preaching ministry, and then as I was looking at, what am I going to do when I get out of school, I felt like this was quite an interesting ministry, and as we continued to pursue it, as we went through some training, God opened up doors. And of course, I'm originally from Springfield. My wife's from St. Louis, so this is for us. It's a way to come home.
For our viewers and for those who are watching today and for the Christian community, how can we support you? And what can we do for the Capital Commission? Obviously, being here in Missouri, especially here in Jefferson City, we know that political government, politicians are in our midst all the time, and a lot of times you'll hear the heated conversations.
Yeah.
What do you feel that we can do for you that will strengthen you and will strengthen those who are serving right now, the men and women who are serving in the Capitol, whether they are believers or not? But what can we do to help you?
Well, there are several things. One is that we have a prayer calendar that we have on our website, or anyone that contacts me, I can send them a prayer calendar that lists every state legislator. Actually, it's all the elected authorities pretty much on state and federal level that represent the state of Missouri, all the way from President Obama all the way down, I don't want to say down, but to our state legislators, to the federal and state Supreme Court justices. And that's a good tool to use to pray for these men and women and to pray that they will come to a saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. So, I mean, Paul tells us in 1 Timothy to pray for all men, but to pray for our leaders. And many of us, and I would say many of many of those who are watching probably pray for their leaders. But my challenge is, are you praying for them to come to salvation? Because that's 1 Timothy 2. What drives that passage is that God desires all men to be saved and come to knowledge of the truth. So be praying for them. Here in Jefferson City, we have opportunities where people could minister or to work with me in the Capitol. We have different events that go. We have a pastor's event. We have fundraising dinners. We have other things that we do in the Capitol that people can have some hands-on ministry work, either with me or with their own legislators. And we are not a state-funded organization. When you mention chapel or chaplain, you're thinking of someone who's paid for or paid by the state. We raise all of our own funds. And so I travel the state, all across the state of Missouri, developing relationships with pastors, with churches, with individuals who also desire to see their legislators to grow in the grace and knowledge of God or to come to salvation.
I think that's very wonderful what you shared about 1 Timothy and how we are called to pray and we are called to uplift them. Whatever your political affiliation is, it doesn't matter. What matters is that they all matter to Jesus. They all matter to God. It is not his desire that one should be lost. And so we need to be praying for the men and women who have had the courage to step up and said, I will serve this great state. And so we would encourage you. We'll put the website or the information on the screen. If you would like to get in touch with Paul, you can do that and ask him more questions or how you can serve. But we'll put that information up for you. And just know that, Paul, you are a gift. You are certainly someone that I am pleased is serving in the state capitol. It's good to know that the thoughts and the the thoughts and the ministry of Jesus Christ is walking that hall every single day, not only through those who are believers, but through you who is cultivating that and planting seeds. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you. Coming up, we'll be visiting with Kathy Schulin from the Jefferson City Area Chamber of Commerce. We'll let you know what's going on right here in your own backyard.